Some big political news today following multiple reports of sexual misconduct. Matt Gaetz withdrew his name from consideration to be Trump's attorney general. So far, Trump hasn't named a replacement, but right now Rudy Giuliani is outside throwing pebbles at his bedroom window. In your eyes, the light, the heat in your eyes.
Yeah, don't sing. Rudy Giuliani might be outside throwing pebbles at his window since you guys stole his home from him and his grandfather's watch. Have you seen the news out of the climate summit? It's called COP29. They're the global cops, you know. COP29. Does that have anything to do with copulation and the world? The New York Times headline, at COP29, sewage beer is just fine. Sewage beer is just fine. This is what the Democrats are doing, what the left is doing to the world. It's such a great world. We have so many great beers. Not Bud Light necessarily, but a lot of great beers. And that's the actual headline in the New York Times, a former newspaper of some repute. COP29, the summit, and they're all there because, you know, they want to go to Europe for the COP29. They're going to COP something or other. The Associated Press has the story, too. At UN climate talks, sewage beer from Singapore, highlights water scarcity. There is no scarcity of water. That's a macro lie. Most of the surface of the earth is water. It's salt water, stupid. Yeah, thanks to the patriarchy and people like me, we can desalinate water. We can purify it. We do it all over the world. We do it on Navy ships, U.S. Navy ships, for example. We do it in the Arab world. The Israelis do it. In California, they're too stupid to do it and too corrupt. They have the largest body of water on the planet out their window. And they're like, oh, no, what are we going to do about water? We don't have enough water. Every day's an IQ test, and you people are failing. The Associated Press at UN climate talks, sewage beer from Singapore highlights water scarcity and innovations. It highlights low IQ theater. And the location, as you are doubtless aware, is Baku, Azerbaijan. That's the capital of Azerbaijan, and it's where the COP29 climate summit is going on today. And they're going to pretend that water is scarce. In the sprawling pavilion section of the United Nations climate talks, where countries, nonprofits, and tech companies use big flashy signs to get the attention of the thousands of people walking through, small aqua and purple beverage cans, their aqua and purple beverage cans, sit conspicuously on a counter at the Singapore display. Singapore has perfectly good beer. I don't think they need to do this. Those who approach learn that the cans are beer, a brand called New Beer. It's a brand new brew. It's called they call it New Brew, and free for anybody who asks. Sure, because it's filled with human feces, but that would explain the low price. But there is something not everybody who cracks one open finds out right away, if at all. The beer is made with treated wastewater. Now that means the water that goes from your toilets and your shower and it goes to the wastewater facility, and they're making beer out of it, and they brought it to the climate summit, and they're giving it to people without telling them in Baku, Azerbaijan. Now, I like beer, as Brett Kavanaugh famously said, but I don't think this would be the right beer for me. Those who approach learn that the cans of beer and some may not learn at all, made from treated wastewater. I didn't know. I was really surprised, said Ignace Urkel Lokulwaka Mumbawahu, who is maybe from there, but probably not, an international relations student from Congo, who recently sipped one while taking a break from the conference. Hey, you're drinking beep. I can even suggest that they make more and more of this kind of beer, added Mabambawambu with a smile, sharing it with his third row. People, when he stopped for a can, he's passing it back to people in the seats behind him. There it is, got a nice-looking can, new beer. And it's made from, and they use a strainer and stuff to get the human feces out of it, and then they make beer from it. And I think that normally in Baku, Azerbaijan, the standards are higher than this. But a bunch of leftists came to town, and they're serving them beep in a can. Here, taste this. I think you'll like it. Yeah. Right. Okay. There you have it. While drinking treated wastewater is a novelty for many at the climate conference, for Singaporeans, it's nothing new. Beware, beware. National campaign from water conservation pleas to showing the wastewater recycling process go back decades. In 2022, the Prime Minister, Goh Chok Tong, was famously photographed drinking a bottle of new water after a tennis match. Sure, done to normalize its use. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. So a lot of people with funny names are eating beep. Well, they've learned how to drink it, so that's good. Isn't that great? That's your Democrat Party for you. And that's the Democrats are bringing this to a third world country near us.
I ate when I was a waitress and a bartender, and I eat as a member of Congress. It's called a job.
She thinks work is the equivalent of eating beep. That's AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Her brain is not a good brain, not one of the good ones. There are good brains, and then there are brains that are not good brains. Her brain is not one of the good ones. That's a fact, Jack. Oh, speaking of brains that are not good, let's go to John Fetterman, because he, too, is a Democrat senator. He's a Democrat senator from Pennsylvania. And now there is a Republican senator, now that the creepy, crooked Democrat finally gave up, the disgraced former senator from Pennsylvania finally gave up, Bob Casey, and said some really weird stuff about how now that the first count has been completed, that wasn't the first count. You're fired. Go home. The movie's over. Honestly, get out of here. But John Fetterman, he came to a camera yesterday, and the media, they love this stuff. He is, from the Addams family, this character who shouldn't have been elected to the Senate at all. Although for a Democrat, he's making more sense than most Democrats these days on a lot of things. But he came to a camera, and he was dressed like a homeless person living under a bridge, as he always is. Nothing like a U.S. senator. He doesn't even dress as well as a House member, He doesn't dress as well as Sheldon Whiteman, a Democrat senator from he's known as Whites Only. He's Senator Whitehouse, Whites Only, because he belongs to this Whites Only yacht club in Rhode Island, naturally. When called on it, they brought in one Indian guy. Said, oh, no, we're culturally diverse now. A billionaire, but never mind that. So here's John Fetterman on Capitol Hill yesterday, and a camera crew standing there. And they said, hey, what do you think about Matt Gaetz dropping out? He pulled his name out of contention for the Attorney General consideration. What do you think about that?
Matt Gaetz dropping out.
Holy shit. I didn't see that coming.
Oh.
I mean, yes, he was the ultimate troll, and people have the opportunity. They can freak out over things and respond. And if you want to do that, you don't have to. You better pace yourself, though, because it's not even Thanksgiving. And we don't have to react and take unserious things so seriously that the world's going to spin off its axis the way it is right now.
You know, you are an unserious thing. You have no business being in the United States Senate, and you should dress like an adult going to a job. You know, if you worked at a rental car agency, they wouldn't let you dress like that. You're a United States Senator, for the love of God. And there he is cursing, and he used the same word that AOC used in the last soundbite, too. These are not words for the kids. I remember when members of the House of Representatives and members of the Senate believed in maintaining some level of decorum. That's all gone because Democrats will burn a police car, loot a local drugstore, might be a CVS, might be a Walgreens, whatever you have in your neighborhood. Amazing stuff. So he's feigning shock that Matt Gaetz withdrew his name. Matt Gaetz was, the main reason he was a good choice for the job is because he was personally targeted by a corrupt Justice Department. And it's a good idea, like, to bring in, it's not the Holocaust, but you have Holocaust survivors come in and deal with the war criminals after the end of World War II. And you have people that were wronged by the American Justice Department under Democrats to take over the Justice Department to clean house, to get the riffraff out, lickety-split. That's what I'm saying. But now there is a new nominee, and her name is Pam Bondi, and Pam Bondi is great. She is the now former Attorney General for the state of Florida, and she's a very attractive woman. She has very blonde hair. She's very Florida, but she's very intelligent, and she has been very much in the news for quite some time for a variety of reasons. But Pam Bondi, you may remember her. This is actually from a few months ago on June 11th, talking about, because she'll be coming into the Justice Department. There's a soundbite of her talking about our current Attorney General, a corrupt Attorney General named Merrick Garland, who has weaponized, that's the word of 2024, I think, who has weaponized the Justice Department and the FBI against the political enemies of the Democrat Party. And everybody's a political enemy of the Democrat Party until they bow and scrape and kowtow. Pam Bondi.
Merrick Garland is our chief law enforcement officer in this entire country. You know, we talk about the weaponization of the FBI, the CIA, ATF now, the IRS. Well, it all starts at the top with Merrick Garland. He has to respond to this. He has to be held accountable. This is way too important for the American people, and our justice system is at stake.
Our justice system is at stake. Our legitimacy as a country is at stake, as a first world country at least. And honestly, Pam Bondi is great, I think. Trump nominates ex-Florida Attorney General and Fox News regular Pam Bondi as AG. Now, they're going to do everything they can to smear her. They're going to try to, in fact, where's my awful, terrible Washington Post? They're going to try to, come up with, hey, maybe Pam Bondi has some women troubles in her past, because that's what the Democrats love to do. She is great. As far as I know, certainly she's squeaky clean. President-elect Donald Trump nominated Fox News regular. This is the beginning of the smear by left-wing Mediaite. And former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi as for U.S. Attorney General on Thursday after Matt Gaetz dropped out of the nomination in the wake of yet another sexual misconduct allegation. Yeah, that's not what happened, but that's what these people say, and that's what they do. The front page above the fold of the Washington Post today, as Gaetz withdraws, GOP warms to Hegseth. But the media doesn't, I can tell you. And they've got a big color picture of Pete Hegseth with phalanx of people around him walking through one of the tunnels underneath the Capitol. And it go from the main Capitol to the office buildings. And there's Pete Hegseth looking stern and squinty-eyed. And they're going to do everything they can to destroy him now, because it's time to, they just go down the list. And they started with Matt Gaetz, and now it's time to go after Pete Hegseth. And they will go down the list because that's the role of the media in our culture. They are filthies. Filthies, that's the plural of filthy, right? Isn't it? You know that football season is well underway. See the big game last night? It was a hoot, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action while you're watching football. With more than 10 million members and billions of American dollars awarded in winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all people all over the planet Earth. They've got an app, and the app is incredibly simple to use. You just pick 2 or more players across football or any sport. You pick more or you pick less on their projections, and you could win up to 100 times your money. Prize Picks even invented the Flex Play. Nobody else has the Flex Play. It's amazing. You can still cash out if one of your picks doesn't hit. How about that? Who else has got that? Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code PLANT, and you're going to get a $50 credit instantly because you hang out with me when you bet $5. That's the code PLANT, P-L-A-N-T-E. Why is there an E? I don't know. On Prize Picks to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to get your $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states where it is lawful to wager. Visit prizepicks.com for details and restrictions. Yeah, so Pam Bondi. Now, watch the news media on the Democrats, but I repeat myself. Just go after her. They're going to gin up something. They're working on it right now. Their pointed, crooked little heads. Working on it. Hegseth, Bondi. They've got a hit list. Like the mafia, like the communists. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. There were headlines back in July of this year. Biden faces growing pressure to quit race as Democrats question fitness. Pressure grows for Biden to resign. Well, the headlines are back today. New calls for Biden to resign after he gave away his Secret Service code name. He wandered into the jungles of South America looking like the head of the People's Temple, Jim Jones, and he doesn't know where he is most of the time. And there's still just shy of 2 months left in his presidency before Inauguration Day on January 20th. And now more Democrats are saying, Joe Biden should really resign and then make Kamala Harris the first woman president of the United States by the cheapest means possible. And she's a woman of color, WOC. So that's actually happening right now. Also, big headline in the last few minutes. New York judge grants Trump request to file motion to dismiss charges. What's this? Cancels sentencing indefinitely. This is Judge Juan Merchan. Judge Juan Merchan granted President-elect Donald Trump's request to file a motion to dismiss the charges in New York versus Trump. This is the non-disclosure agreement, right? Which all of the newspapers and networks have entered into over and over again with women, but never mind that. And remove the sentencing date. Democrats are very excited today at MSDNC. They're hoping that P. Diddy will make bail, get back on the street. They want all their friends to be bailed out. Make America more dangerous. What would that be? Like MAMDA. It's not MAGA. Maybe MEDA, make America dangerous again. And the news media is all over World War III. World War III has officially begun, the headline at Politico. Ukraine's ex-top general says World War III has already begun. And we've got North Korea in there fighting. China is helping Russia in their fight against Ukraine. Iran, of course, is waging war all over the region against Israel, from Lebanon and the Gaza to Yemen and beyond. It's, hey, we got a little explosion. Oh, speaking of which, it's snowing here in Washington. At least it was a few minutes ago. Light flurries, but very pretty. It's, snow is very beautiful, and it's snowing here. My brothers in Chicago both sent me videos by way of their telephones. yesterday of the snow happening there in Chicago. Must be November. And today, bit of snow here. And they had predicted that we would get snow later on today and this evening, but it started early. So we may actually get a little snow here, and that's fine. Now, back to the death cult, that is the Democrat Party. Amazing stuff. Yes, sir. Yeah, the Washington Examiner today also writing an editorial, with raging wars and an addled president, it's a perilous moment. And they're suggesting, it's Byron York, suggesting that perhaps maybe it's time for Joe Biden to step down. Maybe we should have a full-time president with 2 brain cells to rub together. The problem is that the backup quarterback is Kamala Harris, and she's a no good. She's a no good at all. That's, boy, I got to tell you. Nate Silver of the left-wing 538 polling people that the Democrats love so much, saying, Joe Biden is not up to the job, and it's maybe he shouldn't be president. Maybe he should step down. I don't think it'll happen. Joe Biden likes the job, and he doesn't listen to anybody. And if he does listen to you, he forgets it in a minute anyway. He could agree to step down, and then a minute later, he'd forget that he agreed to step down.
Let me just say, all of you may not know this, but my Secret Service name is Celtic.
That's his Secret Service code name. Not a bright man. Well, again, back to the big story from a few minutes ago. New York judge grants Donald Trump's request to file motion to dismiss the charges, cancels sentencing indefinitely, and this trumped-up, phony, BS, political, third world persecution. Trump spokesman labels ruling as a decisive win for the president-elect. That's happening at the Fox News Channel website there. Judge Juan Merchan on Friday, that's today, granted President-elect Donald Trump, that's Donald Trump, and his request to file a motion to dismiss the charges in New York versus Trump. And Judge Merchan removed the sentencing date for the president-elect from the schedule. Merchan said Trump attorneys have until December 2nd to file their motion for dismissal. Merchan said Bragg has until December 9th to respond. Now, Merchan also confirmed the stay of sentencing for Trump, which was requested by both Trump and Bragg's attorneys. Bragg's got attorneys now because Alvin Bragg, the commie chameleon, amazing stuff. So Trump spokesman and incoming White House communications director Stephen Chung reacted to Merchan's ruling on Friday, telling Fox News Digital it's a decisive win for the president. In a decisive win for President Trump, the hoax Manhattan case is now fully stayed and sentencing is adjourned, Chung told Fox News Digital. President Trump won a landslide victory as the American people have issued a mandate to return him to office and dispose of all remnants of the witch hunt cases. Chung added, all the sham lawfare attacks against President Trump are now destroyed, and we are focusing on making America great again. In a letter to Judge Merchan on Wednesday, Trump defense attorney and now nominee for Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche demanded the case against Trump be tossed. Now, these guys are snakes and weasels, and they're untrustworthy, and whatever they say today really doesn't matter tomorrow because you can't rely on them. These are chief jurists in New York and in the United States, and I wouldn't trust them any more than I'd trust something that the Chinese Communist Party told me today, the North Koreans told me today, Putin's Russia told me today, the Democrat Party. What's the difference? Isn't that amazing? Yes, sir. All right, now let's get to this other thing because we had Pam Bondi again. Pam Bondi is now President Trump's nominee to become the Attorney General of the United States, and she's just great.
When Republicans take back the White House, you know what's going to happen? The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows. But now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated.
That was Pam Bondi in August talking about what will happen, and that was back, before Election Day. So if President Trump wins and the Justice Department returns to the business of justice, then justice should be meted out to those that have been abusing power for as long as Joe Biden has been in Washington with his very severely damaged brain. Isn't that amazing? Now, on MSDNC, they have a person that they invited on, probably never again, whose name is Jason Johnson. You think that's his real name? Jason Johnson. Jason Johnson on MSDNC. And he was on last night. And they said, Pam Bondi is the new nominee and Matt Gaetz is no longer the nominee. Jason Johnson, you're an MSNBC Democrat Party guy. What do you think of Pam Bondi as the new nominee?
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing.
Yes, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. He's terrified, you see, and it's professor. He's the professor, and he's terrified. Oh no, Pam Bondi. She's smart. She's capable. She's competent, and we must fear. Notice how, and what a circle fest and a hot tub this gang is. Honestly, he's a political science professor, and his University of North Carolina should probably get it. He's one of the people brainwashing, propagandizing, teaching hate America. He is Professor Jason Johnson.
She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Then he self-immolated. It was quite dramatic. I thought maybe inappropriate under the circumstances, but very sad ending of Jason Johnson. Tragic. Is that on YouTube yet? Because that he didn't really self-immolate, but you heard the anxiety in his voice. He's racked. He's tortured. It's got to be tough being him, Professor, University of North Carolina. Apparently also the University of Virginia, because, Democrats, they got to figure out how to pay each other $1 million each. Isn't that amazing? These guys, I'm telling you. Okay, let's see. We've got, I should go to a phone call, too. And we've got another, we want to get to the lunatic women at The View as well. They are mentally ill. Let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to... Let's see. Let's go to Garrett, calling from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Garrett, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hi, Chris. I was listening to Fox News a little while ago, and they mentioned that there's another caravan spinning up down in Mexico to head north, try to get here before the transfer of power, the peaceful transfer of power. And I got to thinking that, maybe Trump ought to just right away announce that if anybody doesn't follow the law and enforce the laws at the border, public officials will be investigated and appropriate measures will be taken to either prosecute or fire those that don't enforce the laws that are on the books. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm 100% with you on that. I mean, we have had, and I've played audio over the last couple of days of Democrats screaming proudly in Massachusetts, and separately the governor of Massachusetts, the mayor of Boston, Mass. We've got politicians in California, the Los Angeles City Council, declaring that they will fight against the federal government like the Confederate States of America, because they want to keep their slaves, and their new slaves are illegal aliens that have limited legal rights and work for less money, and you don't have to care for or feed them. And look, the illegal alien is the new slavery for the Democrat Party. That's why they want more slaves, more illegal aliens in the United States. And you're 100% right about the caravan. In fact, I think I talked about it a couple of days ago. Newsmax had the story day before yesterday about 1,500 migrants form a new caravan in Mexico headed to the United States. They are planning on getting here before Inauguration Day because they don't want to get here after Inauguration Day. And 18 hours ago, also at Newsmax, Mexico ready to receive deported Mexicans from U.S. if necessary. Now, the Trump administration is going to come in and offer up their alternatives in no uncertain terms. You will take back the people that we send you, or else. Or else what? Well, or else you'll find out, because President Trump he's aware of the fact that he has a great many options available to him and a great deal of power. The Venezuelans say they're not going to take their illegal aliens back. Let President Trump get a hold of that one. The Chinese communists, who sent tens of thousands of Chinese communists here to cross our southern border. They sent them to Mexico, and tens of thousands of Chinese from communist China have walked into the country. And the Democrats, and that means the news media, don't say anything about it, don't care about it. But look, Garrett, if you're an illegal alien, you know that now's the time to come to the United States before Trump takes office, right?
Oui, bien sûr.
Got a little French there. Where did I see the other illegal alien? We have illegal aliens from all over. Oh, yeah, the guy from Africa that was arrested for rape, 12 sexual assaults in Washington, D.C. at gunpoint in the last 2.5 years. And he just got here in 2021. And the news media hasn't said he's a migrant or an illegal migrant or anything of the kind. They're just saying, oh, yeah, this guy is, yeah, sure. He's under arrest now for using a gun to attack and sexually assault more than a dozen women in Washington, D.C. since he got here in 2021. And the news media is not like, well, is he an illegal alien? They don't ask. It doesn't even occur to them to ask because our news media is a complete disaster. North Korea has more legitimate news media than we do. I don't know if you were here for this earlier, Garrett, but MSNBC with a story today, and the headline is, Laken Riley's killer never stood a chance. Laken Riley's killer never stood a chance because they say that it's all the Republicans' fault. For all the political controversy surrounding Jose Ibarra, MSNBC and the Democrats want to make sure that there's no political controversy surrounding murderer Jose Ibarra, who's illegally in the country, one of thousands of members of a Venezuelan gang, and just another criminal. And the Democrats like, oh, the Republicans are trying to make a big deal out of murder. Oh, just amazing. Oh, speaking of which, I haven't even gotten to that story today, Garrett, because there's another murder story about the Democrats as well. Just amazing. So, Garrett, thank you. Thank you for the call. But the story now is, and I just made mention of the police, D.C. police arrest serial sexual abuser who assaulted at least 12 women. And his name is Uwana Ubam. And he's clearly African, and they say he got here in 2021, or he started attacking women in 2021, so that's when he got here. And now he's been arrested. And that's good because the police, the Democrats want to defund the police, That's amazing. But also a news story, and Grabian is featuring it, others now too as well. The FBI's Biden-era murder estimates are far below the number of homicides recorded on death certificates. So the FBI needs to be flushed down the toilet like the floater that they are. They are no longer an American institution. Everybody needs to be fired there. I mean, we need to start over. We should have whistleblowers and then everybody that's fired. So the homicide numbers, they've been lying to us about the homicide numbers. We learned a month ago that they were lying to us about other violent crime numbers. They told us crime was down. Someone looked at the numbers, found that crime was actually way up in every category. Now we have the homicide numbers, and they've been lying to us about the homicide numbers, too. Our government is not the American government that I grew up with. Bam, 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 bam. All right, so much to get to, so little time. All right, let's go. We have these idiots. Boy, are these people unintelligent. At The View, let's go first to Whoopi Goldberg, whose real name is Karen Johnson, just by the way. She's neither Whoopi nor is she Goldberg. I'd like to disassociate the word Whoopi with her. And she says, well, Elon Musk is the real vice president, not the United States Senator, J.D. Vance, the real vice president for Trump. And that means he should be forced to give up Twitter, X.
As I believe, Elon Musk is the actual vice president.
You've said that.
And yes, I believe that because I think that not Matt Gaetz, was J.D. Vance. You know, he's kind of an interim, but I believe that Musk is he's the real actual vice president. He's making decisions, he's doing things. So I think, why doesn't he have to give up X?
Yeah, he should have to give up his corporation, his $44 billion corporation, because Hitler says so. Aren't they amazing? I think I've run out the clock on myself haven't I? Not going to get to Joy Behar. Attacking Joe Rogan, the great podcaster, Joe Rogan, who has changed his Twitter handle to Dragon Believer because these morons, and these are ABC News employees, Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, saying, oh, yeah, Joe Rogan, he believes in dragons. And he should be forced to do something, that whatever it is they want people to do, it's by force. Have a great American weekend.